Welcome back, welcome back. We're venturing off now into our second segment. The Belize Medical Associates, as per usual, they've always have something new for us. And to tell us more about what they've got going on or coming up, in with us, we've got Dr. Marcelo Coyi, who is the chairman of the board of directors, Dr. Victor Rosado, who is the vice chair and medical chief of staff, and Dr. Fernando Cuellar, who is an internist and intensivist.
Yes.
My goodness, man. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
It's always nice having you guys on set. You guys are three well-known household names. When people think about anything when it comes to medical, they always say, oh, Dr. Coyi, Dr. You know, so we know for a fact that something is about to brew, which is very good there at the Belize Medical Associates. Let's talk about what we've got coming on.
Let's start with the chairman.
Let's give.
Well, we are celebrating our 29th year of service to Belize. Belize Medical Associates was formed in August 15, 1988. So that is why we are here to tell you a little bit that we have grown over those 29 years from beginning what was then Petrinis Plaza, remember? 5 of us began a polyclinic there. It has grown consistently, and this is where we are now. We also, well, the growth hasn't been uniformly, but we have always been growing, and we are expanding right now. We are expanding the radiology or the imaging section, as the new name for it now. We have just gotten in a 16-slice CT. We are investing in the mammogram, the newer form, the digital mammography. And next year, hopefully, we will get an MRI. So we're trying to expand to make the imaging services of better use for the diagnosis of whatever illness that you may have now. Yeah. And to celebrate it, we are having a lecture tomorrow night on a specialist in the area of geriatrics and care of the elderly. So that's basically what we want to talk about or speak about.
Yeah. Now, let me congratulations on 29 years. That's quite an accomplishment. And I just want to ask, obviously, as a private institution, you are constantly trying to stay cutting edge. And being able to deliver quality service is part of your aim, but it's also balancing out with the needs and also the affordability of services. How do you decide where you'll focus in terms of moving into your particular investments? For example, now you're going into imaging.
Yeah.
Your unit is being built. You were here discussing it before. How do you decide where you want to venture in your expansions? Because I'm sure there's a long wish list of what you'd like to do.
Well, that is a day-to-day challenge. Yeah. But obviously, we are seeing our patients on a day-to-day basis, and so we can make the decision based on our patients' requests.
Yeah.
So imaging is always something that is right there. It's tangible. You can see patients who go to Chetumal or patients who go to Merida or patients who come to Guatemala will come back with a cleaner, crisper image from a MRI or from a higher slice CT than what we had in the entire country. And so that was a no-brainer. We need to improve imaging. In terms of digital imaging, what that affords you is that if you do your mammogram and your radiologist in Belize has doubt and sees a shadow, well, with a digital imaging, we can send that to our referral hospital in Miami, in the US, and we can give it to you and you can send it to a referral doctor or wherever in the world in a matter of minutes. And so that is something that you're saying makes us more relevant, makes us more cutting edge, but makes us competitive. We have to realize that as a private institution, our competitors are regional and even US hospitals now.
Yeah. And moving into this year's seminar, why geriatric care?
We've had this seminar for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
And it's always what new can we bring? We've done hematology and we try to look for areas where there is a need, and we probably don't have that specialist here in country. Our population base, it's a challenge sometimes to have a super specialized physician in country. So you find that we do not have a rheumatologist, we do not have an endocrinologist, we do not have oncologists, that sort of thing. So what we try to do is to say, let's bring someone in that field, open it up to the majority of our physicians, and what we've done in the last year is look, especially if there is a Belizean, and if we can have a Belizean. Last year we brought a Belizean cardiologist, and so this year we have not shed the focus on our geriatric population, which is our older patients. And Dr. Cuellar obviously sees most of them, but that's an area where we decided, hey, let's focus on geriatrics. We found a Belizean specialist out of San Antonio who we've invited, and she's hopefully going to be able to make it out of Texas. She has confirmed with us that she will make it, and she will give us 2 lectures tomorrow on specific geriatric care.
Now, Dr. Cuellar, what are the specific needs or concerns when it comes to this particular population?
Well, as Dr. Rosado alluded to just now, that I and the internists are the one who perhaps see these group of people, which I think we should define what is an older person, okay? Because I would look at Marcelo and said he started 29 years ago. So he's the older person, but he's not in the geriatric population as yet. Right, Marcelo? No?
Boy.
Okay.
So what about one there?
So it's usually anybody over 65 is considered an older person. No? And they have their own particular characteristics. No? The blood pressure you treat different, the sugar you treat different. They have the other different ailments, they suffer from more arthritis. The brain, as you notice, our symposium will have a lot to do with brain function. They get forgetful, they get dementiated. And myself, and I'm sure that my colleagues in internal medicine are challenged when it comes to treating the elderly persons properly. No? We know how to do it, but obviously we have these specialists who do it much, much better. And as I'm preparing for this for tomorrow, it's amazing how they are treated so different from the other younger adults. No? Okay. I wanted also to touch on what you were saying before in terms of our services. And we do things based very much on needs of people. No? Belizean people need to have these services. No? They need. It's not a luxury. Okay, they deserve it too. So we are the ones who are trying to trailblaze in providing this. And as was mentioned, that we are competing regionally. No? Having a nicer CT than not so much luxury. And what we do, we identify that need, we get it, and you touch on a very important thing, the affordability. No? Which we try to make it as affordable for everybody across the board in the Belize. No? One would say, well, shucks, pay for a CT for $500, but that makes a world of a difference at times. No? And sometimes we try to encourage Belizeans to put priorities in place. No? September they come up, so we don't have no problem at getting the stuff ready for jump up on Marshall, Montana, and spend the $200 there. Lord, for telling for doing CT there. Why is it so expensive? But I'm very happy to be part of this group because we do it responsibly. No? We not just go and do everything haphazardly, and we try to. One important thing I think we should mention is the funding that we get. We have to borrow these monies and pay back and all of that, no? To have Belizeans access these services.
But venturing off into geriatric care is actually a plus. We've heard so many times from the elderly that they're forgotten. People don't really want to give them the medical health care that they're supposed to get or they're supposed to be given. So now geriatric care, venturing off into the Belize Medical Associates is definitely a plus. So what do we say now to not only our clients, because people don't look at BMA or you guys as actually just doctors. They actually see you guys now as brothers because how they could be confiding into you with what they're going through. So what do we say now to these people or to folks who were actually looking forward to elderly care now that we've got these things coming on stream? What do we say to our patients?
Well, what I would like to tell them is that we do recognize that this is a very special group of people. We understand them, okay? Because I hear many times the complaints, oh, Doc, I come because I have this problem, but then tell me that I will age and live with it and deal with it. It's part of life. And that's not the case. You have to approach it from a very different angle. Aging can be done very gracefully and very healthy. So you don't have to just tell people, well, go home, go lay down and sit on my veranda and watch life goes by. You know, people do have to be addressed specifically when it comes to. And I tell you, I mean, it's a world of a difference treating these people and knowing how to treat these people. And it requires special skills, and other organizations like HelpAge do a great job in doing that. But we need to add our medical part to it.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we've had both HelpAge and the National Aging Council on the show, and I think one of the things they've done very well is to remind Belizeans that while we boast of having such a youthful population, that large group of people will eventually move into the category of elderly persons within our society, and we don't have a specialist to be able to cater to them. Quality of life is what's fundamental. And I appreciate you mentioning that sometimes your primary care physician may simply say, well, you know, it's a part of aging and you're going to get used to it. Do you also work with your own staff to ensure that perhaps they will dig a bit deeper when they are treating this particular age group or any vulnerable group, to go beyond that basic diagnosis that, you know, you're old and you're just going to get used to it?
Yeah,
or it's going to happen, I should say.
We try to do that as much as possible, and ourselves being the physician always stand out as the leader of the team. So one of the challenges, for example, we have very often is older people receiving surgery at medical, and we know that that's a very special care we need to give them and look out for certain things. One of the common things we face a lot is older people falling and breaking their hips and that kind of thing. And dealing with surgery and what type of anesthesia, and working along with anesthesiologists and their care afterwards is something we try to show the whole staff that it's something special. No?
Also, I think this hopefully will bring into focus the whole area of the care of the elderly. And whereas we may not have a super specialist, we can begin the process of at least having knowledge that, you know, these people at that age group need special care. So we're beginning with the continued medical education. I would hope that somebody who listens to today, one of the younger doctors, can say, well, you know, I would want to go in that area.
Specialize.
Specialize in that area.
You know, I like that you mentioned it, because it came to mind, and we had a lot of young doctors on set. But why is it difficult? And I'm asking this question because it's very important, because the young population need to know that we need these things. These are things that we really need. Why is it difficult for one to even have the thought to want to go and specialize?
Well, that's a
Do we get
question.
complacent? Do we get comfortable
I
right
think
there?
What has happened is that medicine on a whole, the end of studying a medical career is so far away, and our young people want things now very fast. And so you have to study general medicine, which is 6 years, and then do internal medicine or family medicine, which is 4 years, and then do geriatrics, which is another 3 years. So add those up, and then you get your answer why you have a young person saying, I don't want to start earning money in the next 12 years. They want to start earning money now. So, but that apart, our objective, like Dr. Coyi said, is to put the focus on geriatric care, and I think we are, as a institution, will benefit from that as well. So what we can do starting now with our remodeling is designate areas which are sensitive towards older persons, have ramps, have hand railings, make bathrooms that are wheelchair accessible. So which institutions, even the hospitals,
designated seating,
which hospitals have that as we speak?
Yeah.
I think probably none, but can be corrected. So I think those things we can do now. When we start talking about the actual taking medical care, well, use this person that we are bringing to develop protocols for managing and taking care of the elderly. So I think one of my objectives is to have her as a resource person for institutions in Belize.
Even at intake, it's important, because one of the things when we speak to representatives of the Aging Council is because elderly persons already feel marginalized, they're perhaps not as open with information as they should be, and may choose not to access a service because they feel that they will be marginalized. Is that also something that you would look at to perhaps develop a protocol that if somebody comes in, maybe you dig a bit deeper, be a bit more patient, or ask more pointed questions?
Well, that's definitely will be part of the plans, okay?
Yeah.
Like Victor said, to develop these protocols to address the specific needs of the elderly. And as an internal medicine person, honestly, it wasn't part of something that I was attracted to. I dip on the next line of the thing where I like the drama and the blood and the urgencies and the trauma and intensive care, no? So you have to recognize that it needs a special feeling towards it. And now that I've seen that there's a need, I try to gravitate a bit more towards it. And hopefully we'll have our institution more user-friendly when it comes to the elderly person, no?
You have two specific topics that your symposium itself will cover: beers, criteria, and delirium. Well, we kind of know about delirium, but we'll get into it. But beers, criteria?
It's not the alcohol.
We're not talking
beers.
about a drinking competition or anything like that, right? Dr. Coyi, you're laughing.
No, it's a scale, it's a list of points that we use how to qualify the care of that elderly person. It's a specific thing just applied to them. I didn't use it much, honestly, until I'm seeing it and say, well, you know, shucks, I have to start to use this more. You know? The other part was more relevant to me, the whole dementia and delirium thing. You know? It's a day-to-day thing when it comes to dealing with these things. I'm sure that our other colleague, the neurologist, Dr. Sosa, deals also a lot with these things. I do it more in the acute setting where people come in because they had a fall, or their sugar gone out a whack, or their pressure gone up, or they had an injury, and then they become delirious. And I'm challenged with how to deal with them because they need a specific set of skills. You know?
And there are some really groundbreaking treatments that are available outside of Belize at this point, but at least if people can know that they exist, what the options are when you're talking about Alzheimer's or dementia or some of the other brain diseases, or what is it called, degeneration that may take place. This is a seminar geared specifically towards people working
healthcare business.
Thank you. And medical professionals. What do you hope will be the outcome? What do you want people to walk away having felt that they have gained by attending?
Well, the first thing is awareness, no? Awareness that it is a specific need. I think the facilities that they can begin to change to look after the elderly population. And as I said, hopefully we get one or two young people who can go into that area. But the first step is really awareness. Unless you're aware, then you don't move forward. I also, looking at statistics, you know, Belize, we're going to have in the future a more aging population. I think the medium or the average age now is 72, 73 years for males, no? And we see that population growing, probably even living beyond that 72 years, no?
Yeah, we're more health conscious now, so that means...
So it is something that, you know, it is there.
We see it as giving back as well. As a private institution, we take our anniversary to try and give back. And we're giving back to the wider community. We're having a health fair on Saturday, but also in Belize, the opportunity for what we refer to as continuing medical education is very limited, and so this is part of it. Our seminar has been granted CME hours by the Belize Medical and Dental Association for the past few years, and so 2 credit hours will be awarded to attendees. As you know, medical personnel now are required to have certain credit hours for yearly recertification, and so that's also part of the objective that we have with this seminar.
Well, at the very basic, it's an opportunity for the doctors in the community to earn their points. They don't,
That's
have,
right.
to,
Of course.
they don't have to go abroad. They can
You can earn that
here-
right here at home.
Right here at home.
And tell us about Dr. Elenita Usher.
Well, Dr. Osha is a born Belizean. She's born in San Ignacio. She studied for her first degree in Guatemala, came back, worked at Carl Huchner Hospital as a medical officer for a few years, and then did family medicine in Odessa, Texas, and then went on to geriatrics. And currently she works in a geriatric practice in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was her reaction to the invitation to come to Belize and share this information?
Immediately she accepted. She has long said that she wanted to start to come back to Belize and help, obviously, in this capacity. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that she can make it out of Texas tomorrow.
I know.
Something tells me she will. So she's going to be here. Now, you didn't mention, though, health fair coming up this Saturday.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So the health fair is the part of our anniversary that we do
Yeah.
After 29 years.
for our patients.
Yeah.
And so we usually have a bouncy house for the kids. We have face painting. We have free popcorn. We have free blood pressure checks and body mass index checkup. So that is for the general population.
Yeah.
Okay.
I must say our seminar is more or less geared towards physicians. We've invited majority of physicians, but because of the topic this year, we also invited people from Mercy Clinic, from HelpAge, and from some of the, I think, insurance companies as
Okay.
well.
The bigger companies who have
Yeah.
employees, that
Okay.
Yeah. So you have presentations tomorrow. You have your seminar that is invitation only
Yes,
at night, and then on Saturday
we
is
have
the
a
health
health
fair.
fair.
open to anybody.
At
That's
Belize,
going to be at your
at
compound.
Belize
Right,
Medical
on the front of
Associates.
St. Thomas Street, in front of the building.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's hard to miss now. It's very
Hard to miss,
colorful.
like,
and-
Oh,
extremely.
boy.
and the lights and whatnot. You also have raffles and giveaways and
Right.
discounts. So there's a lot that people can access when they come out, and
Yeah.
I guess the free popcorn will make the kids drag their parents out.
What's the duration? Like from what time to what time? For the health fair?
The health fair starts from the morning, 9 in the morning, until 1 in the afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Don't forget that I actually was eyeing the recliner the other day. I was at medical, but
Ah,
apparently
yeah.
it's only if you are a part of the raffle, right?
That's right. Whenever you attend the clinic, any of the services, you get a ticket, put your name and you put it in the box.
Win the recliner?
Yes.
So you can come for a basic checkup and then you
Yeah.
enter the raffle.
Easy.
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 Okay, so you have the giveaway, and most importantly, we want people to know that they can get some of the medical services for free, the checks that you spoke about,
That's
right?
right.
Yes.
And then there are discounts on additional tests that
That's
they may
correct.
want to get as
Right,
well.
right.
Only on Saturday.
Sorry?
Only,
Only on
on Saturday.
This Saturday.
I think for referrals, for example, to
Okay.
refer us to the internist and at
Okay.
a discounted price, if you purchase it there, you come down the road and
CPR training as well?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mannequin
Okay.
will be there.
So it's actually the whole 9 yards, quality and let me see. There is a slogan that you guys used to use.
Used
and
to
it,
use
You know,
it.
it bounces back. It
Yes.
bounces in my mind.
You're not as young then.
It bounces in my
Because-
mind. Quality health care,
complete
and
and affordable.
Yes. After
That-
29 years, these things stick with you.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned, Belize Medical Associates, definitely the household names that that people are referred to when it comes to quality healthcare. But for the amount of years that we've been going for the 29, what are some of the trends that we've seen in terms of our downfalls in health when it comes to our Belizean people, brothers and sisters? And the reason why I ask this is so people can be much more health conscious. We're not as young people. We just go out, we do what we have to do, eat what we want to eat, and then that's it. And then say, you know what, we're going to bite the bullet. What are some of the things that we're seeing right now, some of the things that we need to look at?
You know, health is something that you're healthy. If you don't take care of yourself, you get sick, and the next stage, obviously, you die. No, and a lot of our Belize population come to see us in the middle part when they are sick. Very little people come when they are healthy, and to keep them healthy.
Yeah.
And we have tried at BMA to introduce a healthy check, wellness clinic, come once a year for a checkup. Every disease doesn't come, you know, at the end point. You begin with your pressure being 130/90, 150/90, and we're trying to get the population to come when they are healthy or when they have minimal disease, where you can keep them healthy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenge. People, in particular the men, come when they are ill. I think the ladies take more care of themselves, certainly in gynecology, in terms of cancer prevention with mammograms and pap smears, prenatal care. They tend to have more the wellness than the men. But I think that's a challenge that somehow, you know, I think we need to create that awareness that we need to see you when you're healthy and to keep you healthy.
Yeah. And people fail to realize that the body, as long as, if you go to a physician when you're not feeling well and you're not doing your wellness, you're not doing your checkup, it tends to be much more expensive. It's like taking care of your vehicle. You carry your vehicle and mechanic when something done broke, not knowing that you broke something else up there.
Yeah.
And so therefore you need to eventually go in and do your checkups. Now these things are available at Belize Medical
The other
Associates.
thing is also is the training of our colleagues, that when they come to you for secondary care, they come with a fever and pneumonia, you attend to that. A lot of time we don't give that extra to say, well, you know, from now onwards you need to do the primary care, you know. So for example, if I would see somebody with a health problem in gynecology, I would use that to begin to say, you know, we need to do something in the primary care. And a lot of the people I would say, have you never done a pap smear before? You know, let's begin it at the next visit. So use the visit that they come when they're sick to begin the primary care.
The reason why it's important to do it.
Yeah, and then the uptake is not very good. I think it's a cultural thing where we go when we're sick, no. And you see it in the we offer both primary, secondary, and tertiary care services, and you see it in the primary care service we have on Regent Street. Where you're supposed to go there to stay healthy, and if you go in the clinic, everybody there come sick.
But
So I guess, Dr. Rosado, you advocate with the parents,
Well,
because we're
I-
good at taking care of the kids, aren't we?
I think that it's not all that bad. I mean, we've been in this for like 25 years, and I think that there's definite signs for optimism. In my field, I think we're seeing parents, let's say, not questioning immunization so much as 25 years, not questioning breastfeeding. So there is a trend towards doing more breastfeeding, much less sugar and water at night and that sort of thing. I think the internet and to a certain extent maybe social media is helping. People have access to information much easier. So I think maybe 9 out of 10 persons who come into my office have already Googled their symptoms and come with information. That can be good and bad, but sometimes
it shows interest.
Exactly. And so I think that it's not all that bad. I think there are signs of improvement. People are looking out a little bit more for their health. And so I am optimistic that it will improve.
It's just getting in earlier, right?
Yes.
Well, I would echo the same. I am very much convinced that changes are happening. I'm seeing people coming for checkup more often now. The 20-year-old, the 30-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, people in the working population, they would say, you know what, I have come here. First I used to see maybe one person per day. Now I'm seeing 3, 4 per day. in
Just
terms
for
of
checkups.
just for checkup, a confirming checkup. Although as basic as it may seem, just to have that interaction, talk. I'm very much happy that people are recognizing that they are what they eat. They're now playing a. They're not perfect, but they're knowing that. Listen, I have to eat healthier. I have to do my exercise. I still can't get anywhere with their management of stress. Nobody seems to be able to manage their stress. The abuses, for example, the cigarette is less, the alcohol is less. So, like Dr. Rosado said, positive changes are happening.
Yeah.
Perhaps not as fast as we want.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But we still want to go after the
it's-
target
it's-
areas,
it's-
which are men,
right.
and having people come in earlier for annual checkups.
Right.
I think
So
the
still-
trick there will be to go through the women still, have their women. That seems to
Where
work.
she forces
that,
him to
that,
go?
That works better. That usually works when they're brought along by
Yeah,
the.
then you'll have a problem with the
Yeah.
single men not accessing care. But that's
There are no single men.
One more, part of the change also I note I see happening is that the bigger companies
Yes.
are requesting
Yeah.
as part of their salary increases that you must do
Yeah,
Yeah.
physical.
a yearly physical, and I think
That's
that's
a really
Well,
good
I was
change.
going to add to that. I think the insurance companies have come a long way too. They
Yeah.
really do encourage
That's right.
the annual checkups and provide for it as well, because they also recognize
Right.
that prevention
The
is cheaper than
prevention is
cure.
cheaper than
Definitely.
So,
You know, there's one more thing that I wanted to venture in, because not because you work out, it simply means that you are healthy. And a lot of folks think that that's the situation. I run every day. I lift weights every day. I'm healthy. I don't need to go in. And that's one of the things that always have us men not wanting to go to the physician, besides the fact that you might get a needle,
Right.
because trust me, we're afraid of it. But one of the things, and there was an item that was floating around on WhatsApp, whereby this guy, he was an athlete, work out every day, but one day he fell and he died, and they found out that it was because he was lack of rest. He wasn't sleeping too much. Now, venture off into it. How important is rest to the body?
Well, like everything else in life, it should be balanced. No? You should have a balance. You can't do much of one thing and nothing of the other. So definitely rest plays a huge role. And we were here already, I think, talking about rest and sleep, how much sleep you need for the day, 6 to 8 hours. You need to get that. So you're right. I mean, the person, I'm not sure if it's the lack of rest that killed that
Yeah.
person. Maybe he had a heart condition, which is usually the condition that is missed a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear a lot of that. I work out. I also hear that he healthy because he work hard. He did a plantation every weekend,
Yeah.
and he worked throughout the day. So how could he not be healthy? But that's not the case.
or
no?
body size,
Yeah,
that you're
exactly.
slim, so you
Yeah.
can't have
You can't have-
diabetes
Yeah.
or cholesterol
Yeah.
problems.
Or heart
So the
attack.
best
Right.
way, and I always use the example of the very great Andy Palacio, who seemed extremely healthy, he was extremely active, but battled cholesterol that eventually led to his demise. I think it is so important what we have brought out this morning, and I know we diverted to a lot of things, but fundamentally we want to remind people, if you want to get your checks, a great time to do it is on Saturday
Saturday
at Belize Medical Associates, because you can get some of these checks done for free and some of the lab tests done at a discounted rate. And to medical professionals and people working with the aging population, if you've received your invitation, then definitely do make use of the opportunity of the visit of Dr. Elenita Usher, right? That's Friday
Friday.
at
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And I think if any doctor who would be interested and we haven't contacted them,
Yeah.
they can contact the office or myself or any three of us.
You'll make space for them.
Yeah.
All right, great. So thank you so much for being here. Happy 29th anniversary. That means the planning starts for the 30th as well, so we
Yeah.
can see what big bang will be then.
Okay.
But we appreciate the conversation as well. Best of luck.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by the organizer of the Back to School Trimming Drive, so stay tuned.